Yo, One Piece chapter 1070 is out. It's the last chapter of the year, and god dang, people, just when you thought Oda didn't have any more tricks up his sleeve, he goes and drops a bomb like this chapter. But before we get started, drop a like on the video. Yo, we're on our way to 200 subscribers now. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you support the channel. I appreciate everybody that supports the channel. Hit the notification bell for future notifications regarding One Piece content, and let's get straight into it.
Hey, listen!
Alright, getting straight into chapter 1070. Starting on the cover page, we got a picture of Mads, and yo, look at these dudes right here. They look like they could be a problem. They honestly kind of look like pirates, and this chick that's facing the background is 100% Stussy. There's no question about it. That is Stussy. Stussy used to be a part of Mads. Honestly, she kind of looks like Carbon San Diego or something, but if you take a look at Judge's eyebrows, they are the curly eyebrows. Keep that in mind. But these dudes right here, they do not look like scientists. They look like a five-part menace to society that's really smart. But getting into the chapter, the battle between Rob Lucci and Luffy continues, and this is pretty much right after Sentamaru hit the ground after Lucci attacked him last chapter. And yeah, it's pretty much as bad as we thought. I mean, Sentamaru's not completely RKO'd, but he's in bad shape, and Luffy actually runs over to his aid. He's saying, yo, I'm sorry that I distracted you. And Sentamaru tells Luffy straight up, listen, don't be sorry for me. Don't underestimate me. I actually tried to block his attack. I'm just not strong enough. At this point, Lucci explains his idea behind that attack, which is he wants Sentamaru to lose consciousness so that Sentamaru no longer outranks CP0 in the authority to control the Seraphim. So Lucci's already got a plan. Luffy uses a new attack here called Gum Gum White Whip or Gum Gum Dawn Whip. Both of those sound cool, and I'm sure it'll look fire in the anime. Anyway, Luffy basically turned himself into a tornado, and now he can't stop spinning because he's that much of an idiot in this form. But next, we actually see the Seraphim going to work on CP0. We see the S-Hawk cutting through CP0, and we see, of course, the S-Shark using that swim fruit. We get dialogue from Kaku and Stussy here, and Kaku's saying, bro, they're unstoppable, and what's worse, even if we beat them, we lose. It's like a lose-lose situation. Of course, Stussy responds and says, if you think about it, it's worse than we think because these are just children. So that confirms that these Seraphim will grow up to be grown versions of themselves and still be strong as hell. Directly after that, we notice that Frankie, watching this battle on screen, he's getting emotional because he knows where the swim fruit comes from. After his battle with Senior Pink, Frankie had a huge respect for Senior Pink and what he went through. So Frankie's getting emotional, and Vegapunk chimes in here and says, oh, so I see you noticed that he has the swim fruit powers. Yeah, that comes from a man that is currently locked up in Impel Down. So let's just stick a pin there. Vegapunk can experiment on people that are locked up in Impel Down. Anyways, he goes on to explain that up until now, it's only been possible to copy the powers of Zoan fruit. And he comments to Nami, he says there's also Caesar's smile fruit method, but he doesn't really consider that to be acceptable. Of course, Nami chimes in here and says, yeah, he could die 1,000 deaths and that still wouldn't be enough. Of course, she's still upset with him for what he did to the kids. But he goes on to explain that with enough resources, he's sure that he can copy all devil fruits. And he tried his hand at Logia's, but they seem to be trickier than expected. Of course, he does not comment on Kizaru's fruit that all the Seraphim and the Pacifistas seem to have. And he goes on to say that he found the trick for Paramecia type if you just synthesize their blood from the lineage factor of the Paramecia user, then you can get their powers. This is the green blood that you see coming out of the Seraphim. And we see directly after that the S-Snake using Boa Hancock's Mero no Mi. And of course, we see the S-Bear using Kuma's Paw fruit abilities. And Vegapunk goes on to explain explain here that the Seraphim, they're the peak and culmination of his ideas that he has created. Vegapunk here is saying that there is a very strong possibility that they will go down as the strongest humans in history. And Frankie comments, he's like, oh, so this is why the warlord system was abolished. And Frankie, being a fan of Vegapunk, is super blown away by this info. However, Sanji chimes in and he's like, so wait, they're Navy weapons? And Robin comments and says, yeah, and that makes them a huge threat to us. And I gotta say, shout out to Sanji and Robin for understanding the gravity of the situation here. We already have videos on just how crazy powerful the Seraphim will be. Of course, not only being the clones of former warlords, but also having their devil fruits and also clearly having some sort of DNA from the Lunarian race, basically making them indestructible. But remember, these are just kids. We cut back to the Luffy versus Lucci fight, and Luffy is giving this man the absolute work. Luffy starts off by eating the ground and spitting the foundation at Rob Lucci. After that, Lucci goes to hit him with a hockey-coated attack, and he does, but it doesn't matter. What he hits Luffy into is a vacuum tube. Luffy, being awakened, just makes the vacuum tube stretch like a tightrope out of WWE to give Luffy the ability to clothesline this man Lucci with what he calls a gum white rocket. Here, Lucci is thinking, what the hell is this, man? What the hell is this? Yo, Lucci, my guy, this is a Yonko, bro. This is what Kaido had to go through, bro. Gotta step your game up. What were you thinking? Kaku told you not to get into a fight with this man. And Lucci tells us here he's actually losing consciousness. God dang. But anyways, from here we cut to the S-Snake telling Jinbei exactly where it is to go to the top floor. And Jinbei thanks her. He's saying, oh man, I'm so happy. Thank you. It's really nice to see a nice version of you. Of course, we know Hancock has a really bad mean streak. And the S-Snake actually responds and says, you're an insolent dummy. I'm just following orders. So that's a nice little tidbit to show that the S-Snake, not only does she have Hancock's powers, but she also has Hancock's personality. So that's nice. From here, we see Chopper and Jinbei taking Atlas to the lab phase for treatment. Here we actually hear dialogue from the vacuum rocket saying, please refrain from boarding at the last minute, preparing for takeoff. And Sentomaru chimes in here and he tells Luffy, yo, please, I'm trusting you with that old man. And of course, Luffy responds and he's like, you can count on me. The entire group, including Luffy, actually made it onto the vacuum rocket, and we actually see that they're blasting off to the lab phase. Bonnie comes to. She's already pissed off. She's trying to find Vegapunk again. Jinbei's like, yo, it's a long story. We're gonna save it for later. And we even see a little picture of Luffy here. He's looking super drained after his fight. Of course, he went straight into gear 5th. He's never done that before, so that's why he looks drained here. Next, we see them reach the lab phase and the automated voices giving them a breakdown of the lab phase, saying intruders have intruded the lab phase. All lab workers, please barricade. And basically the lab phase is being prepared for battle. We cut back to CP0 and they actually are commenting on the situation at hand. They're saying it's a pity that Sentomaru had to go down like this. We get a small panel of Sentomaru right here. He looks to finally be unconscious. I'm hoping that he's not dead. And here we see that Stussy is commenting and she's saying our orders are to wait on the Marines, but Rob Lucci doesn't really want to do that. Rob Lucci's saying if we wait too long, they're gonna get away. Here, Vegapunk's talking to the Straw Hats. Usopp is saying, wow, they really want you dead, huh? Wouldn't that be a waste for the world government? I mean, you are the world's smartest man. And of course, Vegapunk never intended to continue to work for them. And Nami chimes in here and she's like, oh yeah, I suppose that would make sense to snuff out a potential liability like you. And Usopp is like, bro, what the hell? How could you say that? But Vegapunk is saying, listen, an Emperor's crew showing up just as things came to a head, that is a twist of fate. Of course, that Vegapunk never really expected Luffy to pop out of nowhere, but that's Luffy. He has great timing, and that man's luck is insane. But from here, we see the Straw Hats basically confirming that they're excited that Vegapunk's gonna join the crew for a little bit. They're maybe except for Nami. Nami doesn't really seem to be with it, but hey, whatever. From here, we cut to Luffy and Bonnie's group, and we see that Bonnie is storming off. She's still after Vegapunk, bro. She is really determined to either make Vegapunk turn Kuma back to normal, or he is gonna be dead. I'm not sure Bonnie's really strong enough to do that, but you know what? Hey, we'll see how that turns out. We see that CP0 has control over the Seraphim. Now that Sentomaru is unconscious, they have total authority, and Seraphim is on their side now. They're preparing to block every chance of escape from the Straw Hats. They're saying block off every exit, and that they don't care. They won't let a single one of those rats scurry off this island. From here, we cut to a marine ship that is outside of Egghead Island, and of course, it is the big bad admiral that pulls up himself. Kizaru has finally reached Egghead Island, and terrifyingly, he's saying, yo, the Straw Hats, they've combined forces with Vegapunk. On paper, that should make for a straightforward escape, but boy, are they gonna be surprised. Kizaru plans to have a bunch of battleships to Egghead Island. I don't know if he's planning on Buster calling the place, but Kizaru is just super friggin' terrifying. That is the end of the chapter, and that is the last chapter, presumably of the year. Let me know what you think below. Holy crap, Kizaru is here. He is the one admiral that we know will show up. He doesn't really give a damn. Let me know what you think below. This chapter was insane. Let me know, of course, what you think about the Seraphim and how they're basically the strongest humans that Vegapunk's ever gonna create. Let me know what you think about that. Of course, drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Yo, guys, I'm so excited. We are on our way to 200 subscribers. This has been such a great journey already. I can't wait to keep going on it with you guys. This has been your boy, Sifu That Guy speaking. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a very Merry Christmas. Peace.